Our colleague, Mike Walter, recently sat down for an exclusive interview with former U.S. President Jimmy Carter. He was vital in quest to establish diplomatic relations between the United States and China. The interview first aired on The Heat.
I was in New York at an event, and it was Chinese and Americans, and this gentleman came up to me and he said, it was from China originally, living in New York, and he said to me, he said, who are the greatest presidents in the United States? Name a couple. And before I could answer, he said, I know what you're going to say. It's either going to be Washington or Jefferson or Lincoln. He goes, I'll tell you who the great presidents are in your country. Nixon and Carter, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for those two men. And when you think about that, how many lives you touched by taking this chance, and the people who came here to the United States, including President Xi, who went to Muscatine, Iowa, and learned about. Talk to me about that and the residual effect of just a sweeping resolution and saying, hey, we're going to do this, just the impact that you've had on countless people. And this exchange, not just Chinese coming to America, but Americans going to China as well.
Well, every time I go to China, and I mentioned I go there almost every year, I feel at home as soon as I get out of an airplane, because I'm welcomed by the Friendship Force, as you know, and by the Friendship Association. And I have the same kind of reception when I meet with the Chinese leaders, with the premier and vice premier, when I meet with governors and mayors throughout China, when I meet with student bodies and professors in the great universities in China. I feel that I'm at home and that they are grateful for what I was able to contribute in a small way. And I think perhaps of all the things that I was able to do when I was president, this may be the most beneficial to world peace and to understanding and to economic development and to accommodation of disparities between countries that are inherent and unavoidable, anything I ever did. Because there's no doubt that, that the Chinese economic progress was made possible by Deng Xiaoping's decision, when he normalized relations with me, to open up China too internally, changed every Chinese person's life. And it made possible for them to worship as they choose, to move from one place to another, for rural people to move into the cities, for them to have economic freedom, for some Chinese to make a profit, for them to own, control their own land. Things of this kind, it was unimaginable at the time. And also for student bodies to multiply almost geometrically. You know, they have so many more college students now, university students, than they ever would have had otherwise. And that doesn't even count the enormous expansion of China's involvement in every country on earth. Before that, the Carter Center had a lot of programs in Latin America and China, I mean in Africa, Latin America and Africa. We very seldom heard about or knew about the Chinese ambassador, because their embassies in those countries were almost non-existent or unknown. Now, though, I would say that the most expansive and influential diplomatic entity on earth is China's. I can't go to any country in Africa or Latin America, for instance, where China is not playing a vital and important role in the life of that country as it relates to China. Some Americans feel that China is expanding too rapidly on an international stage. I don't think so. I think it's beneficial.